Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. This is a special meeting that we called. Two items of, I just looked, didn't vote. I didn't get it. It looks like all 6 trustees in there are. The 2 items of business that we had, one to decide if we want GovPro Consulting to run the election for us. And the other item is to decide whether we want to do a polling place election or a mail ballot. The mail ballot is $6,000, a polling place election is $8,000. And
If you use the consultant.
if we use the consultants, that is correct. And Jody emailed out, this is from Judy Egbert, this paper here, and it just kind of, it explains kind of basically her thoughts on it. The advantages of a mail ballot, advantages of a polling place. One thing that kind of caught my attention is, it says that statistically, 2/3 of voters vote absentee in a polling place election. That's the way it was. So if you have a polling place election, 2/3 of the people are still going to vote by mail. But this is by
This is
statistics.
Statistics can be used
Yeah.
to
This is
prove
Pitkin.
This is Pitkin.
anything.
That's right. Does, I guess the first thing to decide is if we are going to hire Judy Egbert to run the election for us.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Right now, today, I have no idea who's running, who's not running, other than a few petitions that I've signed. So it's really kind of difficult to even decide if we need election. Because for some reason, people seem to think it's a secret that when you pick up your petition, you're not supposed to tell anybody unless you get them to sign it. So I just think it's hard to make those decisions if you don't know
Well-
if we even need one.
I haven't got a copy of the contract here, but if we do sign the contract and there are not enough candidates, there is a way out. You gotta pay $75 an hour for time up to that point. But technically, the petitions are due in on January 25th.
Right.
Somebody could come to Jody's house on the morning of the 25th, grab a petition and circulate it.
That's correct.
So we won't know until,
But the 25th to 26th, it should be in the newspaper following as soon as it comes in.
yes,
That Pitkin has these people and who they are.
yes, I guess.
Well, it won't be in that newspaper.
No.
So
Well, it should be.
well, it's not gonna have time, because you gotta have it in there by Tuesday at noon, and there's not gonna be.
What,
You have so many
what
days
day
to
we
try
try
to verify the
Monday?
petitions.
Yeah, you have to go by and verify them, I mean,
They're not gonna be done by Tuesday at noon.
yes. Matt,
Myself and my wife have talked to more than 6 people that are running for trustee.
okay.
So I think
I'm pretty sure.
there's a good chance there is going to be an election.
There is a
More than 6.
very good chance, yes.
So
Just some of the petitions I've seen and heard about, yes.
Would you probably just assume?
Yeah, I don't think there will be.
Yes, I think it's safe to assume that we are going to have an election.
and there is a reasonable out if there is not one.
Right.
You know,
If there fails to be enough
it's not,
candidates,
we're not paying $6,000.
we don't have to just fork over the
or
$6,000.
$8,000.
You pay her, I think it said $75 an hour for her time.
And it said
Up
the
to
most
the-
would
Not to exceed
I thought I read
$3,000.
3,000, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was gonna say.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to hire a consultant to run the 2016 municipal election. or a draft of a resolution.
Okay?
Second.
I have a motion from James, I have a second from Matt. Are there any other questions before we take a vote?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
James, would you consider a friendly amendment to your motion? And that would be not that she run the election, but that she be appointed as the deputy clerk.
Well, I would gladly do that. I was reading what it said in the agenda.
Well,
I mean, that was my
it's
recommendation.
ultimately,
Right.
the
But I would
town
admit,
clerk is the person that makes the choices, but the deputy clerk
Deputy
can
clerk.
act in the town clerk's
Yes.
absence and can provide
Right.
guidance to the town clerk. And there's a statutory protocol at CRS
yeah.
3110-104 that says the town can appoint a deputy clerk. So that would be my
Okay,
suggestion.
Okay.
no problem. Yes, I will amend my motion that we hire, do you want Jody? Or just the GovPro
Yes.
to, as the deputy clerk to handle the 2016 municipal election.
Okay. Have a motion from
Second.
James, a second from Matt. Any other comments? Okay, all in favor of hiring GovPro, or Judy Egbert of GovPro to run the 2016 election, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Mr.
Okay,
Mayor, may
I didn't say it right. That's okay.
the way it was moved was fine. Mr. Mayor, may I suggest some verbiage for a resolution with regards to the appointment of Ms. Egbert? I have identified this as resolution number 1, series 2016, Town of Pitkin resolution to appoint Judy Egbert as Town of Pitkin deputy clerk for the 2016 Town of Pitkin election.
Okay.
Whereas an election for the position of mayor of the town of Pitkin and for the town of Pitkin Board of Trustees is scheduled for April 5, 2016. And whereas the Pitkin town clerk is only a part-time employee of the town of Pitkin, and whereas it is anticipated that the time demands on the town clerk in running the election will be significant, and whereas this body has the legal authority to appoint a deputy clerk to assist the clerk in her or his duties pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute Section 3110-104, and whereas the assistance of a consultant to serve as deputy clerk will help facilitate the efficient operation of the election process, and whereas Colorado Revised Statutes 2009 Section 3115-101 at C authorizes a municipality to enact regulations that promote the health, safety, and welfare and improve order, comfort, and convenience of the municipality and inhabitants thereof, and whereas Judy Egbert of GovPro Consulting LLC is an experienced elections administrator and has indicated her willingness to serve as the deputy clerk in relation to the Town of Pitkin 2016 election. Now, therefore, be it resolved that this Board of Trustees hereby, 1, Judy Egbert hereby I'm going to change the language here. Hereby orders the following. Judy Egbert of GovPro Consulting LLC is appointed as deputy clerk to provide guidance and assistance to the town clerk in running the Town of Pitkin 2016 election. 2, a resolution adopting the supplemental appropriation shall be adopted at the next regularly scheduled meeting. 3, the Town of Pitkin mayor is authorized on behalf of the Town of Pitkin to execute a contract with GovPro Consulting LLC for Ms. Egbert's services as deputy clerk.
Okay.
So if the board would want to make a motion with regards to,
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 1, series 2016, Town of Pitkin resolution to appoint Judy Egbert as the Town of Pitkin deputy clerk for the 2016 Town of Pitkin election on April 5th, 2016.
We have a motion on the floor,
I'll second.
Okay.
so,
which motion is that?
the first one.
You already voted.
Voted on
We
it.
voted.
Yeah.
Now we have to vote on the resolution.
Did you vote on those?
Okay, we got a motion from Cindy and a second from Lisa to accept, resolution, number 1, series 2016. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay.
How do we do that?
Do I have to sign, or you're gonna give a clean
I
copy?
can give you a clean copy tomorrow, or you can sign that. Unfortunately, my handwriting is horrific at best.
Okay. Okay, the next question is what kind of election are we gonna have? Mail ballot or polling place? Does anybody have any thoughts?
I do.
Yes.
I think that based on the cost and the fact that, you know, it's basically easier to do a mail ballot, and that's kind of the way everything's going these days, that we should just do a mail ballot and not a polling place.
I
Well,
agree.
At the last meeting, the possibility of fraud came up, but in a town this size, I would expect that the election judges are going to recognize every name that comes through. And I don't see how
At that point,
somebody,
it's too late though. It's like if they show up at the poll,
You have
right?
3 days. You have 3 days
Days
after.
to throw them out.
After the petition is turned in, you have 3 days to either approve the names or disapprove.
Oh,
The clerk does.
the petitions.
The
yeah,
petition.
But
we're
at the
talking about the
voting-
voters,
But
about
the
the voters.
votes, if
Well, the
somebody,
votes, yeah, votes the same thing.
You used to
I-
change
Judge can
that mail
challenge it.
ballot.
But
Yeah.
in a town this size, I would expect that the judges would probably recognize every name. I don't think it would be possible to vote twice, come up with a phony name.
yeah, but no, it wouldn't be phony name stuff, but it could be somebody saying that they live here when they don't.
Well, now that's gonna happen. That
Yeah,
could,
yeah.
now, there are gonna be challenges, but there'll
Yeah.
be challenges no matter how the
But
election.
the other thing is that the people who are gonna be the judges, I have no idea who they're gonna be because it's not gonna be one of us.
No, it's not.
I mean, it's gonna be somebody that may not know everyone.
Well, there's gonna be a list of names.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know, but they may not know whether or not people really live here. So, I mean, I don't
And
know.
Susie, you know, you have the absentee ballots.
Yeah.
I mean,
Those
Yeah.
people
it's
are
the same
gonna
thing.
mail
That's
in.
true.
It's really the same thing.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you really don't want, if you really want to do that, you just, I mean, you just do
Because
the absentee
if-
vote.
If we
There's
have,
not, it's no difference.
Well, yeah.
if we have a polling place,
Except for some people may just get the ballot and go, oh, I guess I'll vote. And even though, like, they don't spend any time here at all.
Well-
Because there are some people
It's
on
gotta
the
be
list
mailed to
that
them
are.
first. They
Yeah,
can't just
but
give
there's
them.
people on their list that they don't have a home somewhere else. And they will be mailed the ballot.
And then they have to be here to do it.
Well, but some of them have Oklahoma mailing addresses.
Well, that's up to the county clerk and the town clerk to communicate, and there are certain time frames that was passed out at
Right.
the last meeting
The
that,
schedule.
that those are required, so it's gonna be addressed. Yeah.
There's really no difference in
Well,
this fraud part, I don't
I
think.
would just like for you guys to hear what happened. What year was it, Ramon? Do you want to explain that story of what happened? Because-
1980,
Yeah, because,
we went, our registered voter list went from, I don't remember the original number, around 30 to 35 to, well over 100, just before the election. You can imagine, you know, that most of those people were, you know, I knew every name that on the registered list, they're talking about knowing the names, but, you know, most of those people were summer visitors at cabins here, and we challenged, I was the head election judge that year, because I wasn't on town council or anything. And we challenged a number of voters as they came in. I don't know the total number, because quite a few of them, when they were faced with a challenge, they have the option of signing an affidavit swearing that they are a resident or not voting. And about half of them at that point turned around and left.
The affidavit, it says blah, 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 subject to the penalty of perjury.
Yeah.
So.
I don't think it did say that then, but it does now.
Yeah,
I
my
know.
understanding is if
Yeah.
you tell a fib in that context, you're subject to prosecution.
So they were challenged, but there were 28 that were challenged and still voted, out of the ones who came in. And, but they voted and their votes counted. And those 28 then went to the county clerk for review of the registration, whether they were legally registered voters, and the county clerk upheld the challenge on all 28 of them.
So in other words, all 28, well,
And
wasn't there
removed-
one, wasn't there one that was
No,
with?
that, the county clerk upheld all 28
Oh,
and removed them from the registered voter list, but the election was over and
The votes are
done.
the
with their-
same.
But
With
you're
their
gonna
votes.
have that, I don't care how it's done, mail or, polling place, you'll still have that.
yeah.
You'll still have it.
May I make a comment, please? First
Yes.
off, the people who are of the moral character to cheat are gonna do so anyway, okay? And the second thing is that I just read an article about Hinsdale County. And Hinsdale County actually has more registered voters than they have people, okay? So the people who wanna cheat will find a way to cheat. And,
Right,
and,
right.
you know, character is pretty cheap for some folks.
But, and just because we have a polling place doesn't mean that everybody's going to come in here. She says that
No, there
by
would still be
statistics,
absentee.
2/3 of the people still are gonna vote by mail.
Absentee,
So you still won't see everybody come in.
yeah. Right.
And you'll have the same,
They still have to sign an oath on the ballot
Yeah.
too, so.
yeah, they still have to sign
Perjury, whether in
Difficulty
writing or
to
in person.
When is this vote? March 5th?
April 5th.
Oh, April.
No.
But I kind of agree with Matt. I don't personally see the point in spending the extra $2,000. Jesse,
How will we handle a challenge if it's mail-in? The mail-in person that's challenged has no opportunity to sign this
There's a process
affidavit
for that, too.
that Ramon speaks.
There's a
They
process.
sign it on
They
the
signed it on the ballot
Yeah.
when they vote.
But like you said, they were allowed to vote because how they showed up. The ones that the 28. If you mail it in,
You still
and
vote.
there is no contradiction to the challenge if mailed in.
Well, they'll have a chance because they'll be contacted by
Be
the
challenged. It's
district
challenged later.
attorney, I believe.
Yes.
Once their names are
It's
turned
challenged
in,
later.
then they'll have
It's
a
not-
chance to.
But the votes counted.
Yes.
That challenge does not affect the vote. If
Only
it's,
the
if it's
ones that
mailed.
turned away
If it's
when
mailed.
you told them, when
Yeah.
you said.
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you know, Matt, you say there's no difference because there's so many absentee, but there really is. An absentee voter has to request a ballot. And that's a difference. You know, with the mail ballot, everybody who is on the list when you get it, which is, you know, currently there are, I believe, right around 80. I don't know what it will be a month or whenever the deadline is for that list. But everybody who is on that list isn't asked, they're sent a ballot. And that is the difference. And then, you know, there's no challenge prior to them casting the vote. And that's, you know, I can't predict what will happen. I hope that we don't see an increase in the registrations.
But
But
if somebody wants to cheat, they know they want to cheat. They're going to ask for an absentee ballot.
well, maybe. I mean, it's just like
I mean,
the election
their
in
whole purpose is
1980.
to-
There were, I don't know, 20 or so that showed up, and when they were challenged, they turned around and walked out and didn't vote. So, you know, I think just the knowledge that someone is going to try to deal with it to make it a legal and fair election can have an effect. But you send out a ballot and there's nothing to tell them that.
Jesse,
Does the judge's job start before the ballots are sent out. For example, if we go through the roster that the county has, and there is a deceased party on there, but their name is still on the roster.
They get to vote twice, Jesse.
Well, my point
Once from
is,
picking, once from having.
you're missing me. When do our judges' jobs start to go through this register to make sure we send ballots to the proper voting people?
When they come
I
in.
believe that my recollection is that the statute provides that the county, it's the registrar's office, the election folks, must send a list of voters 30 days prior to the election to the town clerk. At 22 days, there has to be a list of any supplemental registrations from that 30 to 20 day window. And I believe the ballots go out on day 22 prior to election. And so I don't want to speak to Ms. Egbert, and I would submit to you that before you make any decision one way or the other, you might want to get her on the horn. But my understanding, Jesse, is that she will train the judges before probably even that 30-day window. 30 days is when the county sends out the master list. All right?
Once the clerk gets that list, if Jesse were to request it, is that open for public information? Is that a public document?
I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Okay,
You can go
so,
online right now
You
and
can
get
go
it.
request his own at the courthouse, I mean, at the clerk's office if he wants it.
So my suggestion would be maybe get on the phone, Mr. Mayor, and hear it straight from the expert's mouth.
To ask for what?
If you've got questions with
About the
regards
judges.
to whether or not you should go mail or
Well,
ballot place. And one other thing I wanted to make everyone aware before you get Ms. Egbert on the horn. She is providing consulting services to a different municipality that's previously contracted. She is not available to be here physically on election day. And if you have a ballot place election, that means that the town clerk needs to be there from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. And then the county.
okay.
So just FYI.
Everybody is concerned about these challenges. You're going to have that whether you vote by mail or whether you vote by polling place. The same people are going to vote. And you'll probably have the same challenges.
Ballots are not forwarded either, so if they don't live here anymore and their address is still here and they don't live anymore, well, they won't forward it to their.
I know.
I think on the list though, it has a couple
Flowers.
of addresses. They don't have an Oklahoma address as their mailing address for the ballot.
Well, if they're registered
And
as
they're
a
not registered in
resident of
Oklahoma, they're
Colorado,
registered here.
if they're registered as a resident of Colorado, which is different than a voting person, but if they're registered as a resident of Colorado and then they're registered here with this address as their precinct, then they have the right to vote.
And it'll just be mailed to them.
But they're saying, as a resident of Colorado, they're saying that this is their home, this is their resident. And if they're gone, their intent is to return to Colorado. And they must be supporting Colorado financially some way.
It says in the affidavit, it must be your primary.
Yes.
Your
This is-
primary is.
All you have to do is say, this is my resident and I'm planning on coming back.
So what we need to know is, what is the definition of primary resident?
Well,
Well, you're kind
Where
of.
you
that's what I'm just
Where
saying.
do you
There-
live?
There's,
But I know, but what I'm saying is that
That's not.
there's a couple of factors. One is 12 consecutive months is a factor. The other one is like you pay a state income tax. You're financially supporting the state.
But you're kind of off the subject here. We're gonna.
Well, we are or we're not.
Not
No,
really,
yeah,
not off the
you're-
subject.
I mean, all we
You can
need
sit
is a
here-
motion from a trustee to vote on this. And a second.
But
You're-
we've got to
I-
discuss.
I'd like to make a motion that we do a mail ballot election.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I got a motion from Matt, a second from Lisa. Any other comments?
Have a comment. If it's a yes vote, you're voting that this, you want a mail ballot. If it's a no vote, then you're basically voting that you want a polling place.
That is correct.
Okay?
Okay?
Smarter county.
But let me, before we vote. So, if I understand you right, if someone in a mail ballot is challenged, their vote still counts? Well, that's not right. If they're challenged and they're really proven not to be,
Well, then it's taken back.
It doesn't matter because they have already signed the affidavit on a mail-in ballot. There's a place they have to sign when they mail it in,
And
which is the affidavit. And that's, basically their vote goes into the ballot box with everyone
and
else's.
that affidavit says what? That they're a full-time resident?
I can't tell you the exact
Oh, it
language.
says this is their permanent dwelling place.
But,
Okay,
but Cindy, they sign this, if it's a challenge in the polling place election, it's the same thing.
Because all they have to do is take the oath and say, yes, this is, and then.
This is,
Yeah,
and then they
it's
vote, and the
gonna be
vote's
same
counted.
thing. It's still gonna be the same thing.
Challenged and they're not.
Well,
You have to, still have to prove it.
yeah,
They may be
They
taken
have
off the
to-
registered
They
voter
have-
list in the future.
You're challenging the verdict
Yeah,
on you.
'cause I
Yes.
think
And then
you
go
get felony
to
for it. You
Uh,
can't
you
vote.
gotta turn in.
you're still gonna have to let them vote. If you're standing there at the door and they come in to vote and you wanna challenge them, you're gonna have
If
to
they
let
sign the
them vote.
affidavit, they
sign.
vote.
Yeah, once they
You're gonna
sign
have
it.
to let them vote.
Yep.
The-
Candy,
It could be Genghis Khan from the
Candy?
depths of time.
yes, what do you wanna
Is
say?
that-
Well, I just had a question about, and you may have already answered this and I missed it. When will the ballots be mailed out? And is there a time frame, a window that they have to get back to Pitkin? I'm a little concerned
22
about.
days, isn't it, before the election?
I
Did they mail it
know.
out?
That is my understanding.
Yes.
There'll be a drop-off box where they won't have to be mailed back if you live here. The other ones that don't live here will have to mail them. But there
Okay.
will be some type of a secure place, and that's what this person.
What will that be?
I don't know, we haven't got that far yet.
I'm reading the dates here. The first day that a mail ballot can be mailed is 21 days before, 20 days before the election. And the last day they can be mailed is 15 days before the election.
Okay, so we
In
should
that-
get it, if it's mailed 20 days prior, we should have it within a couple of days living here in Pitkin.
Right.
Unless it goes to Denver.
No,
5.
Denver.
Go to
It
Denver.
goes to Denver.
They'll sit
No,
on it for
I mean,
3 days.
Yeah,
If you live here in Pitkin, you're gonna have it the next day, basically.
Okay.
It goes to Denver. They have no more local mailing here.
Debate
Well-
the US Post Office.
No, that's not our, how fast the US Post Office delivers mail is not, it's not part of the discussion here.
That is correct. Okay, I've got a motion and one more comment.
Well, I'm sorry, my concern is that it's 20 days prior. I'm still waiting on something to get here from December 12th. And this
Well,
is January,
we're-
so I'm just concerned that, if
You'll
I mail
have
my
to-
ballot, I want my vote to count.
I guess if you don't get the ballot, you will, I don't know if you go to the post office or if you.
You
go
can,
to
you
town.
can pick up a ballot from the clerk
Yes.
Okay, but what if,
personally,
in my
if you
case,
haven't
I'm
received
leaving
one in the
here,
mail, or if you lose it.
Well-
I'm leaving March 9th, and I may not be back till after April 5th.
Well,
And I'm gonna be in Minnesota recuperating from surgery, so what am I gonna do?
you'll have to vote absentee, I guess.
Yeah, but what address?
Well,
I mean, the hospital?
We're not really here to debate what you personally are gonna have
Okay,
to do.
no, but
I'm
can I
sorry.
just, I know, but that's a concern of mine too.
Yes.
And I won't be here in person anyway.
You
Either
couldn't
way,
vote,
so
you
I have a
can't come
problem.
in, you can't
But-
vote in.
But I wanted to read this Colorado voter registration form and what it says under the self-affirmation. I affirm that I am a citizen of the United States. I have been a resident of the state of Colorado for at least 22 days immediately prior to an election in which I intend to vote, and I am at least 16 years old and understand that I must be 18 years old to be eligible to vote. I further affirm that my present address, as stated herein, is my sole legal place of residence, that I claim no other place as my legal residence, and that I understand that I am committing a felony if I knowingly give false information regarding my place of present residence. I certify under penalty of perjury that I meet the registration qualifications that the information I have provided on this application is true to the best of my knowledge and belief, and that I have not, nor will I, cast more than one ballot in any election.
Okay, that
Just
sounds
so
good.
that you know what it
Yes.
says.
Okay, now, I've got a motion from Matt, and I got a second from, Lisa to hold a mail ballot election. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
There were two of them. Okay, so it was.
Did you vote?
I voted for the mail ballot. So that was 5-2. Okay, so we're gonna have a mail ballot election. Okay,
Mr. Mayor, did you want to consider a resolution with regards to the mail ballot?
we probably should.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, may I please have your permission to read a draft
Okay,
for your consideration, draft resolution?
Basically, a mail
This
ballot.
is titled Resolution Number 2, Series 2016.
Listen,
Town of Pitkin Resolution to conduct the 2016 Town of Pitkin election via mail ballots. Whereas an election for the position of mayor of the Town of Pitkin and for the Town of Pitkin Board of Trustees is scheduled on April 5, 2016. And whereas the Town of Pitkin is authorized pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 3110-908 to choose a mail ballot election. And whereas conducting the election via mail ballots will reduce the time commitments for the town clerk. And whereas it is anticipated that the selection of a mail ballot election will provide a more efficient and fair means to hold its election. And whereas Colorado Revised Statutes 2009, Section 3115-101 et seq. authorizes a municipality to enact regulations that promote the health, safety, and welfare and improve order, comfort, and convenience of the municipality and inhabitants thereof. And, or no and. Period. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Pitkin 2016 election shall be conducted by mail ballot.
okay. Okay, that's, I can sign that, or,
Well, you need to have some discussion, maybe a motion in a second,
yes,
then discussion.
okay. Now we need,
I got a question of those mail ballots. Okay, they're all gonna be mail-in ballots and they can't be forwarded. Can you still get an absentee even though it's a mail-in ballot? But like Susie said, she's not gonna be here, so she can put in
have to
a,
have my friend
absentee
Ricky's address up
ballot.
in Burnsville,
She can get a ballot.
that's why we want, just the people that
Yes.
can't be here.
And then she'll to Springtown and Rochester.
I make a motion that we accept resolution number 2, series 2016.
Okay, okay, I got a motion from Matt, I got a second from James to accept, resolution 2, series 2016. Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay. Yes.
There was one nay. Okay, 6-1. Okay, is that all, Mr. Attorney?
Mr. Mayor,
you have to make sure
one
you get
final
that
thing
absentee
that
stuff done and get it to
the agenda for tonight's meeting addressed selecting whether or not you'll do mail ballots or not, and whether or not you want to appoint Judy Egbert and taking care of that business. One of the elements of the Egbert matter that cannot be addressed tonight was the resolution to have a supplemental appropriation. I would like the board's permission to communicate with the town clerk so we can facilitate notice on that. The notice requirements are a little bit different with regards to budget, supplemental budget appropriations. And I think that that is reasonably related to what was on the agenda. It's not calling for a vote, it's merely requesting permission to publish notice.
Okay, do we have to vote on that at the next meeting?
I'd like you to vote on it tonight.
Vote on it tonight?
Yeah, because
Oh,
it is
okay, yes.
part of the Egbert.
Okay. Okay, so we have to have a budget appropriation. Our budget,
Well, maybe that's on your end, but on the resolution end, you have to have notice, and if the town budget's over 50,000, it has to be published in the newspaper. If it's under 50,000, it has to be posted in 3 prominent locations in town.
Okay. Can we do this after we vote? Because we're gonna vote on it tonight
All you're voting on is
to appropriate.
provide, no. You are voting to merely provide notice for the next meeting, consistent with the protocol for a supplemental budget appropriation.
Okay.
So I make a motion to provide notice that we're going to have a supplemental appropriation in regard
Okay.
to the election.
I have a motion
I'll
from
second
Matt.
it.
I have a second from Rand. Any more questions or comments? Okay. All in favor of the supplemental budget amendment?
Mr. Mayor, it's merely to provide notice.
Provide
No,
notice,
notice,
that's right,
yeah.
forgot that.
That
To
that
provide
will be on the
notice.
agenda and
Okay.
as a special program.
Okay. All in favor of providing notice for a supplemental budget amendment, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Now that has to be on the agenda of the next meeting, is that
That
correct?
is correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, is there any other business?
After
Nothing else
we
on the
close the
agenda.
meeting, I would like to make a personal announcement.
Okay. I can close the meeting right now at 7:35.